Still has a life left. Let's see if he can use it well. He is the blue Terran, Maru.
In the bottom right side, we're looking at the main base of the Zerg, who's been absolutely on fire in this lower bracket of TSL 6. Dragon, Phoenix, Gaming, Dark. Dark fires up 6 roaches. Alright, are we gonna keep making units then, Dark? Because that feels really weird, right? To make
Yeah.
6 roaches while he's like, oh, I see how much gas is being mined. Alright, this is what I need. Nah, we're gonna see a few more roaches. Okay, so Dark just has his plan, has his strategy, and he's gonna send everything to the other side of the map. And I feel like I've seen in the past, this brings me back to the long time ago when everyone was playing 201, where it's like, alright, the medevacs are out, and then the Terran picks up 60 Marines, flies to the other side of the map, and while they're halfway there, that's when the roaches show up in the natural. But hopefully Maru will just spot the units in the center of the map.
You see, exactly. So this is the other awkward thing that can happen with a 2-on-1. I was talking about a macro Roach Warren, but Dark's clearly not doing that. So in this case, if you can pull your SCVs to the main and then drop your main, your own main, yeah, right? Then you can actually, you have enough firepower to hold, but he's going to try and hold the low ground with bunkers. I feel like it's far too late. That was the Roaches already here, man. The Marines are going to try and hold the line. The SCVs are pulled. He's going to try and hold the natural against this. It might work. I mean, at least he's got his Marines unloaded, and that's kind of the most worrisome thing about the defense.
Yep. I mean, if he would have taken a different route, this could have just been game over. Then it's never going to be enough. Maru is feeling really confident here that he can just clean up these roaches and ravages, and he has already picked off quite a few Zerglings. The bunkers do finish up, so far so good for Maru. He still has 20 Marines. I mean, normally you'd say 20 Marines. Combat shield close to finishing up. Well, maybe not. Okay, that's painful.
He picks
Maru?
up against this?
Yeah. Maru thinks that it was just light pressure. It's like, no, Maru. Dark is very serious about this. Now Dark is making a couple of drones behind this, but yeah, Maru picking up all those Marines. I think he was already thinking of counterattack.
I guess it's possible that Dark was going right back into droning after making only like 10, 12 lings, but usually you would anticipate a very big committal once the lings show themselves, right? If it's like 6, 7 roaches, you're kind of like, oh, wait a second. But yeah, Maru's been playing a little bit with fire. I mean, so far it's been fine. As long as his units got dropped out, as long as he was actually paying attention, then he was going to do okay. But it still feels like some of the riskier choices have been made. Now he's going back to just defending, just getting that wall up, even canceling it, thinking I don't longer need it. I think he's right about that, but...
Needs a tech lab, though. I was about to say, Maru, it's about time to get a tech lab, because we lost combat shield. It is important to rebuild it. The tanks did get... Or the one tank actually got a bit more forward. So now Maru's natural is safe. Dark has done nothing but building drones at home while all of this was going on for the last minute. And now you look at the work account, you're like, damn, 63, 3 more on the way. 66 drones look pretty good against the Terran player that doesn't have combat shield.
As long as he gets the 4th base up.
Yeah, and he doesn't know about this army. The one thing that is a bit sloppy, I think, is that Dark had so many Zerglings, but not a single Zergling was out on the map patrolling. So Dark doesn't actually know that it's not just a little drop that's heading his way, it's actually the entire army of Maru. Dark is about to run into this, he's like, oh my goodness, tanks and Marines? Yes indeed, and that means that this hatchery is actually a gunner, as Dark has quite some resources in the bank, but the lurkers are simply not out yet in time to keep this base alive.
It's still, I guess, somewhat excusable if he actually does clean this up, which I don't think Maru's going to be rally pushing anytime soon. He got his 4th base, he hasn't broken on the rocks here, so he will eventually evacuate. But now he's got to, you know, if he didn't realize it before, I think with the way that Dark is playing this out, he's got to start thinking about the lurkers. Now he scans them, there you go. And then how do you deal with that, which is... I think where Dark has actually looked quite powerful with the Roach play. Like, I think we've both been on the whole, like, yeah, Roaches, I don't know about that. One thing that's undeniable is that they can, when they get you to lurkers, and enough lurkers too, with both upgrades. Those are still pretty good. And Dark has been doing well if he can get to that stage. We're here now, just needs to work on those upgrades. The lurkers are repositioned, the Vipers are getting their energy. It's almost there.
It really does feel that Dark is just like looking at this game, it's like, alright, enough craziness. I was gonna build some lurkers. Like, yeah, I know I've got a bunch of minerals in the bank, but there's nothing I can do. I just want to get more lurkers. I need to get these extra gases up and running. It's completely fine. He's showing no intentions of making any aggressive move whatsoever. He's like, no, I'll let you try it. Like, I've tried to break you in the previous games. Now I'll let you try to break me. As the Vipers will land a couple of abducts immediately. 2 tanks go down. The last one barely gets saved there with the hot pickup. So far, so good for Dark.
Yeah, he can be very comfortable even on 3 bases as long as he's not like trading out unit after unit, right? So now that he's finally on 4th, well and secured, he can feel very good about this. He will reach out to a 5th, but if it doesn't happen, he's not really seemed to be phased by it before. And he is really, I feel like Dark has been really pushing this speed burrow before range narrative, where like most of the other Zergs for the last year or two, whenever the upgrades came in, were like, nope, always range first.
Yeah. I asked a good Zerg play the other day, I forgot who I was talking with, and they're like, or maybe I asked Gabe, and he's like, doesn't matter, 12 upgrades complete so quick anyway.
Sounds like Gabe.
As these Marines do steam forward, Ravages didn't do that bad, but Maru gets quite a few of them in the end, but maybe Dark is not too unhappy about losing a couple of roaches here and there. So that obviously is going to free up supply for more lurkers.
This Corrosive Biles even hit a couple of medevacs, so really not a terrible trade. And yeah, he's going to be moving on to, I think, mostly like Ling Hydra Lurker anyways. Just a handful of Ravagers. Boosting into the main base. Those things have been there actually since like 5 minutes, to be honest. They didn't even react to the push.
So, no F2 zone. Maru is going to deny Dark from going up to 5 bases, at least on the right side. There are a couple lurkers here. Maru, are we paying attention? A little bit. A couple of Marines bite the dust. The other ones are quite, quite badly bruised. Dark has taken the bottom side too, and I feel that Maru was there not too long ago. He has seen it. Maru is aware of this base, and I think he's going to try to do something about it now.
Death Thor's ramp there with the army is going to be pretty powerful, but he's not going to use that. Maru's going to go all the way to the bottom left, forced to cancel a command center to a single lurker. His drop on the right side scans and sees, well, 4 lurkers. I'm surprised he went after it, but because he saw the queen. Thought he could get it. Nope.
Dark hasn't really seen that army yet on the left side. He sees it now. Dark, there's a lot of tanks here, but he still just goes for it. With a couple of blinding glass lands them and crosses on the medevac. That was full of 8 units. I mean, that's a lucky catch. But other than that, that wasn't too good for Dark.
That was so awkward for Maru. He wanted to pull back, but then his tank stopped them, so it was like a perfect Corrosive Bile zone. And then the medevacs picked up, of course, right on top of the Corrosive Biles. I mean, Dark was unaware of this push, but he's dealing with it now. He can take out most of the tanks with him with the abducts. Lurkers aren't even really necessary. Like 3 more starports just went down.
Let's see where he goes with it. Maybe we'll see a couple of Liberators with advanced ballistics down the line. There is a planetary here on the left side, but that's kind of painful to run your Zerglings and Banelings in. But apparently Dark doesn't give a damn. And we do have a couple of abducts landing on these tanks, but my goodness, Dark lost a lot of units here for not really a whole lot of damage, but at least he's starting to kind of open it up, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what he was thinking of, is that I'll open this up and then I'll remax and attack again. It's totally a worthwhile trade, especially as these ghosts might get a couple last minute. Oh, all the snipes. All the snipes. Probably not. Not with all of those snipes in mind, but it is going to be now an open pathway for later. Dark also was providing aggression to his opponent, so he finally has his right side and left side bases up. And it's going to go for a Ling Baneling remax.
That was oddly satisfying to see all 3 Vipers getting picked up at the same time and see them fall apart like that. The death animation is kind of cute. Well done by Maru. Also not losing too many SCVs during all of that, even though I don't think it'd be that bad to lose a couple. Darkness is going to try to go for it, but all the Zerglings surrounds quite a few of these bio units and gets on top of the tanks as well. Do we have enough Banelings to blow up the planetary? We've got Banelings coming in from every angle. I don't think it's enough though for Dark.
I don't think so. Even some of those ghosts only dying to the last stragglers of the Banelings, so the fan of bio units was quite good. The planetary is able to help, and Maru actually is able to push back immediately. I mean, that was kind of an overzealous engagement by Dark. I'm actually like really relieved as a Terran player it didn't really work the way it seemed like it was going to, because then I would have been like I don't know, maybe on the Zerg height train, but anyways, it was Dark taking engagements far ahead, I feel like, of the rest of his army, and he was appropriately punished for it. He still has left side of the map, though. He's been taking the very aggressive left base, and he still has the ability to remax, although his bank is considerably less because he just made 20 lurkers.
It was actually a bit scary for Dark, because after he was stuck at 150 supply, he only had 6 larvae for a little bit. So imagine if Maru just keeps pushing with his bio units, it gets really awkward. But now Dark has bought enough time for himself to get those extra larvae out and more of those larvae into Hydras, who now all became lurkers, and all of a sudden we've got 21 lurkers. It's only 8 ghosts at this point. Do we have any Vipers out? No. So Dark did not remake the Vipers yet. Maru throws down the scan and he's like, oh, a lot of lurkers. A few more than I anticipated here. And Dark is just gonna run all of them into the Widow Mines, into the tanks. He's gonna push the ghosts back. When will the ghosts be able to land the snipes? The Terran dreams are made up. It seems like the answer is never, as the Banelings push them back too. My goodness, Dark is relentless. He's reckless, but he definitely made this one work.
He's definitely reckless. He's down to 17 lurkers, which, you know, I only say that because he was at 20, but still 17 is pretty good. He really didn't lose a lot of these more expensive, slower building units to make that advancement. He lost his lings and his banelings, so the nuke finally comes into play. But if Dark doesn't see this one, well, I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, okay, there he goes. He is gonna force him to cancel.
You made it seem like it's easy. I'd be like going around 17 bases now. I'm like, oh no, which base is it? I'm like, no, it's all my lurkers.
I always go army first, then bases, personally.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Dark's starting to add on some infestors, it looks like, which I do think is a very good idea. I think we have been missing some spellcasters. Not to, you know, say that Dark isn't playing super well, but it has been a bit more on just the, like, A move overwhelming. Well, A move plus burrow, I suppose, it was necessary. A little bit of siege hopping going on, too, but the point is not really the complex fungal, burrow, parasitic bomb, abducts kind of combination that can happen. It's been all about numbers. Now it is numbers. Still 21 lurkers is a lot, but 3 vipers as well.
Maru's low HP medevac turns around, tries to get a couple drones here, but Dark has been on top of it, left a couple of hydras on the low ground. 9 infestors, okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, there are the spellcasters you were wishing for.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I mean, maybe 9's a bit overkill, maybe 5 or 6, but either way. I mean, he's probably looking at some neurals on the tanks or even the liberators, to be honest, and then, you know, everything else, the fungals and the ghosts being probably the most important thing, sure. Maru's army has really gone into basically a mech army, by the way, whereas Byun was really trying to work with a lot of bio to kind of cover his tanks, and it wasn't really working. I mean, Maru has not had the same weaknesses, so he's literally got like 15 tanks, 8 liberators, and 20 ghosts. 1 marine! It's not really a bio army, it's a spooky mech army.
Well, I want to find the 1 marine. Oh, it's near the tanks. Yeah, okay, let's go. I mean, what's the army value must be through the roof. Yeah, indeed. Maru's army is quite a bit more expensive than Dark's army at this point. Gas-wise, it's very similar. But mineral-wise, Maru's army is quite a bit more pricey, which honestly means that it should do somewhat well. But I mean, with armies like this, it truly all comes down to the engagement. We have a couple drones dying, I guess, to a liberator somewhere.
I didn't catch that one either, actually. Probably. Something along those lines. But, looks like Dark is ready to engage. He wants to jump on top of these ghosts that were retreating. Goes for a lot of abducts. The EMP actually only hit 1 Viper. So, it's somewhat successful for Dark. I mean, I think this is going to be the weakest spot just because there's not a sensor tower. There's not SimCity. There's not planetaries. And that's what Dark is focusing on.
Dark is adding the Greatest Spire and fired up 11 Corruptors, so good chance that Dark too is going to try to add a couple of Broodlords in the mix. Against 20 ghosts and Liberators, it's going to be difficult, but anything is possible. Maru is really embracing the late game in this one, and I'm kind of happy to see it because we know that he can play it like no other. A couple of abducts do not even kill the Liberators. That's always kind of a bad sign as a Zerg. I think Dark is going to be forced to give up this base, no matter how many lurkers he has here. Corruptors are not in the right place yet to deal with these liberators.
Yes, the infestor skin is so gigantic, Jesus. They come crawling forward, very late to the party. The corruptors should be out, yep, there they are. So now the liberators are being countered. I do think he's might also be thinking of the Broodlords, but right now they are necessary as the anti-air. I really don't think Dark wants to give this base. You might be right, maybe it's gonna be better off that he does give it up, but if he gives up 1 base up, he gives up 2. And if he gives up 2, then that's dominoes continue falling.
I'm surprised that he morphed all 11 of them. Like, I kind of thought that if we're landing up dogs, you need a little bit of anti-air dog to take out the liberators. Otherwise, what are we abducting them for? I mean, he's got 7 hydras, but this is probably not going to do it. Maybe the 11 Broodlords will be enough to push this back. This could very well be it. I mean, these armies are so expensive, and Dark's got no gas in the bank whatsoever. He's going to lose the hatchery regardless, and Maru just on sieges and leaves immediately. Dark takes the base, takes out these 3 tanks. Well, Maru's like, alright, job well done. Let's get a couple Vikings and start taking care of the Broodlords.
This was something that Bjorn was not able to do. The speed of Cyril's Broodlord transition, the position that Bjorn was in, just made it impossible to even try the Viking plan against Broodlords. But now that we have someone who's in a much better position, we can talk about the implications of this. So first of all, quadruple starport is fantastic. He's also been upgrading with his armories basically the entire game, so they also got some pretty decent upgrades. The problem with the Vikings, as always has been, is that the parasitic bomb plus corruptor numbers can be too much. Can be. But Dark doesn't actually have that many corruptors because he made so many Broodlords. So it's all about the parasitic bomb fungal combination, which means that Maru just has to make sure he has his Vikings fanned out, which, you know, considering he's actually been the one kind of forcing these engagements, that is to say that he's moving into Dark and Dark's responding to him, it could actually happen. These Vikings could get some pretty decent shots off. A good engagement is definitely possible.
Ghost coming in from the right side. I'm gonna try to land a couple of snipes on Infestus, I believe it was. And these are nice pickups because the gas bank of Dark truly is non-existent. So when I was thinking about before, like, oh, you know, maybe we can just defend that base later or retake it. I kind of understand why Dark really refused to let it go. He has absolutely zero gas in the bank.
Yeah, it's actually, I was thinking about the Rich Vespian Geyser also falling if he did give that space up, right? Well, that actually doesn't matter. The Rich Vespian Geyser is out of gas. So there's a bit of mining.
Extractors. Yeah, those are literally the only two extractors that Dark can mine of at this moment, where there is gas left, and a grand total of 4,000 gas, which isn't, you know, that isn't even all that much. So Dark is still gonna have to be very, very careful with his trades at this point, because his current army is costing 8,000 gas. So even if he mines out all the gas here, he can still not rebuild the army he's currently sitting on. Gonna need some phenomenal spellcasting. He's done it before, earlier today against Showtime. Let's see if Dark can do it again.
He's going to bring the Broodlords in, so we could have an engagement very soon, but the Viking numbers are pretty impressive, and they don't actually have to fan out that much because the Fungals can't quite reach them. So they just bop 1 or 2 Broodlords and escape. And 14 Vikings with +2 weapons here. Oh, the Fungal's good. The Parasitic Bomb is also good. They're going to land, get out of that one, but another Fungal is going to decrease their health even more. Not quite get the pops, though. And that's what he was looking for. They can still be repaired, and Maru is actually forced to disengage.
A beautiful wombo combo there by Dark. That's exactly what he needed, and I don't believe he really lost any Infestus. The Gulls were trying, but I don't think they really got a lot of snipes off. Man, this is a pretty epic little fight. And once again, this is it. If Dark does not keep the base alive, he's got no more gas. It seems like he wants to go forward. We've got 15 Gulls. I actually thought we had a bit more than that, but obviously that is plenty.
Well, now that Maru's siege units are all types of sieged up somewhere, Dark goes elsewhere. Now, the Broodlords won't come along with this very quickly, so they're not even bothering to bring them, but the Lurkers come through, take out the tanks, take out the Planetary. The Ghosts, very fast at responding, are here to save the day, perhaps. More Lurkers burrowing, however, and the Ghost can't get close enough. Now the Vikings taking out the Overseers. Actually, don't see this too often, but that is definitely a part of it. You need to see the Ghosts when they cloak up, but there's nothing to detect it. Dark has to run away.
Oh my goodness, that's really cool. That is a very, very cool combo by Maru. Dark forced to disengage there. We do have a fight again on the left side. A couple of parasitic bombs landed on the Liberators that are still on top of each other. Maru does just have a much healthier bank than Dark does. The 2.3k gas, I think, is really going to come in very, very handy for Maru.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. And these are the types of armies that really, if someone's out of position, not paying attention, it could go catastrophic, very catastrophic either way.
Okay, Dark just started +2 flyer attacks. That is like, on one hand it feels crazy. On the other hand, I kind of like it actually, because this army is it anyway, right? Like, you're not gonna rebuild this army anymore. Simply, there's no money for it. So then you may as well try to make it a little more powerful than it really is.
You know what, I agree with you. That's a very good perspective on it. Is it also potentially an Infestor he could replace?
Oh,
Maybe.
he's surrounding the Ghost.
Ooh,
oh, the
position.
Overseers are coming by. This is actually a very, very good pickup. There is so many Ghosts going down. The Medivacs just stood there and looked at it. Did not save the Ghost. Now we have a couple of Fungals landing too. Wow, what a pickup by Dark.
That was very expensive, but it's something that Maru was allowed to replace. He can't make that mistake again, however. Like, that's he's running out of minerals and gas to mine as well, so he's really got to pick and choose his battles, what he replaces, you know, his units with, and he is going to finally start adding in some more Marines. Right now, I don't think the Marines are actually going to be helpful, but if they kind of like, if they wait, behind one of these bigger tech engagements, then they could come around and actually be very useful indeed. I mean, they could even just do run-bys, try and pick off tech, find, I was gonna say mining, but that's not even really true. Find static defense to pick off, I guess, could also be helpful for the Marines. I don't know. They're just gonna be more useful with the mineral bank that Maru has.
And Dark had a couple of crazy reckless attacks in this game, but he's really became a new man when it comes to the patience. Like eventually when he's like, alright, this is clearly not working, I'm not breaking him, I'm still in this game. Let's just turtle up and try to get little victories across the board. And the fact that he saw those goals, surrounded the goals while he couldn't even see them yet with his Zerglings, but then the Overseer showed up and that allowed him to pick up the goals. Just a really phenomenal move by Dark. I've been so impressed by the way he's played today.
It was beautiful. It was. I was going to say, like, minutes ago that it really feels like Dark might be regretting some of those earlier engagements where he was just very bullheaded. It was like, okay, numbers will win out. It's kind of like when someone doesn't brush their teeth when they're a teenager and then they have, like, major dental surgery and they're like, you know what? Brushing, flossing, mouthwash, the works every single time. Super patient dude. Super smart dude. Like, he's not going to make any mistakes from here on out. Because he learned his lesson earlier on in life. But is it already too late? Is the bank going to be the biggest issue? It might, but these armies have the potential to completely just like flatten each other, you know, even supplies afterwards, and they also have the potential to just go crazy one-sided. I really don't know how it's going to work out. It's been forever since we've seen such an even late game TVZ.
Yep. I mean, I don't want to ask you, but do you think there is ever a chance where they say draw? Like, it shouldn't happen. Like, we should absolutely battle. But if neither player, like if Maru doesn't want to move into static defenses and Dark doesn't want to move away.
Mineral parasites the mules. That Maru tried to drop to steal the minerals. I mean, which he did. He did successfully steal them, but still.
That's kind of funny. This is something that we used to always do in Wings of Liberty when we had these TVT stalemate scenarios. People were building 12 orbitals. Maru has to be so careful here. Like, I don't like this actually. Getting a couple drone kills, careful.
It's proven to be okay. Well, the Vikings are covering.
A parasitic bomb would do so much damage. Okay, gets the first Viper, gets the second one. Oh, maybe it was a good move in the end. Only one Viper remaining. That could go down too, and it does go down. Fongo connects. Wow, okay, Maru just got 3 out of 3 Vipers. But there is still a lot of mechanical damage he took there too.
The cost of the repair definitely is better than the cost of replacing the Vipers, though, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, overall it was better, but it was extremely dangerous. Definitely agree. As far as a draw, I don't know. This is one of those situations where there's like a chess, like a German word in chess, like Zugwing or something. I don't remember. But it was like, if they both decide they can't move, then that's the draw, right? But as long as they both can do something, like literally kill creep tumors, mine last bits of minerals, then we need to talk about an actual draw, which is like lifted buildings against no corruptors. No. Yeah. Which is unlikely to happen.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. Like, someone could win this, absolutely. But I have the feeling that Maru eventually will be like, I don't know. Then again, maybe Maru is just trying to make sure that he mines out all the resources. And we're getting there, guys, because Maru only has one more base up and running. And that is the base on the right side. The mineral patch on the top is about to be mined out. So I think that is kind of just going to be it. Maru's like, well, there is nothing that you can steal from me anymore. I've got a bank. I've got a little bit of a gas bank too. There's Marines playing a dangerous game. Zorkins also. Oh my goodness. Why is there a fight happening?
Yeah.
All for 1 Marines on the ground.
I don't know. There's probably a point. I feel like there should be like a graph. I don't know. Someone's gonna actually do the research here, where there's a point where you start thinking about a draw in games like this because you're like, oh my god, it's crazy, it's stupid. Like, I don't want to do this, and then it dips down into like, well, I've been here this far. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not the one to tap out, right? So I mean, at a certain point, you just get too stubborn to tap out or offer the draw. What?
This is great. Okay, my gets it. Dog not paying attention there. That is insane. Imagine if there was an infestor burrow there. Maru could not have seen that. And an infestor on burrows lands a fungo, you lose all your Vikings. And there goes your 2k gas bank, and that's all the gas that Maru will have too. But instead, he's the one killing the Viper. Dark has 0 Vipers at this point, and he's remaking more infestors. It seems like he thinks Vipers are not the way to go. More infestors is the way to go.
Well, I mean, they have been better at surviving than those Vipers, because those are the remade Vipers. He's lost quite a few in the last couple of minutes. I don't know. Maru's starting to push in, just a handful of Marines trying to make something happen. Forcing out Fungals, although now there's not any lack of Fungals. With the 24 Infestors, we are back to old school Wings of Liberty. They're going to mass neural parasite those Liberators. I want to see it happen.
I love that Maru's like, oh my goodness, there's gold. It's like 70 minerals. He's like, all right, now we're gonna build a missile turret here just to make sure you can mine out those last 100 minerals, which is basically what the missile turret costs. Oh, well. Dark is done. He has officially now, well, other than 200 minerals, he's made a couple of extra queens. This is it. Maru is gonna try his luck one more time. He's like, you know what, this is taking long enough. There is one Viper apparently, which I didn't know, and it's going to go for the Duck. That's a guaranteed kill. Second up Duck. No, move the Viper back. Don't lose the Viper. Yeah, exactly.
Lost a Brood Lord though. Yeah, I guess parasitic bombing wouldn't really, one of them wouldn't really do enough. Maru would pretty easily split from it. So just getting as many abducts as possible into the Spore Crawler. Tree line is as long as he's got it, but it is starting to be destroyed by the tanks. The Brood Lords are going to try and snipe one of the tanks. It looks like, and in doing so, we're going to get one of themselves sniped. Yeah, it didn't really work out.
Good on siege by Maru there. Every unit counts, but the Viper is back to energy. Now the Ghosts are a little bit closer to the front line. Maru knows it's all about the EMPs in this case, and the Viper that just leaks 200 energy has to start all over again after it gets EMP'd there. Good job by Maru.
Such a fun game. There's no more mining happening. Dark is a little bit, but Maru is entirely out of mining, and he's still got a bank to work with. So he can make a couple mistakes here and there. He can replace some of these gas units. Infestors not quite getting EMP'd. It seems like one of the Ghosts did die. Oh, the Infestors didn't get the tank. Want the fungal, but nothing to capitalize on it. It's just damage.
Yeah, but the damage adds up over time, though. Yeah, I think any bits of damage. I mean, this is kind of cool, to be honest. It took a little while, but now it gets really close. Both players can absolutely win this. If Maru gets impatient, he's looking for an EMP. Lands the EMP, does not get any kills. The Queen goes down to the Liberator. I feel like this is kind of New Year's Eve, you know? We're counting down until midnight, because every unit that goes down will not come back anymore, at least on the side of Dark. And even Maru is going to have a very hard time building anything other than Marines.
Yeah, he's getting a couple extra tanks.
Viking went down to Spore Crawler.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, another one's gonna go down. Hello? They're flowering here. They push each other away once they stop being controlled. AI working against Maru here.
I feel like we can land a fungal from this side.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Fungal! Dark! Guaranteed damage.
His changelings would have seen the missile turret. Was he? Well... He's gonna get it? He's gonna get it? He's gonna get it? He's gonna pop up!
Oh, he's gonna EMP!
Oh, Dark.
And he gets out of there! The neural parasite. EMP comes to goes. Now Dark goes for it. Zombie Grub, take it away.
What the heck? What the heck is even happening? The Liberators are finally getting neural, but it took a little while, so a lot of Infestors have already died. In fact, they're still dying. Not enough Liberators are actually taken out of here. They're still alive. The Vikings are still alive. And Dark absolutely gets slaughtered after 47 minutes.